to the show. Our three questions that
with Sugar Fix in Chicago with Dr. Jessica Emery. So thank you so much for jumping on.
I mean, I'm still going to work on it, but yeah.
And then right away, as soon as that first thing comes out, they sign up for it.
Welcome to Dental Tech Chat. I'm your host, Allie, and today it's my pleasure to be introducing you to Dr. Peggy Bown and Allison Lacoursiere. Dr. Peggy Bown has been practicing for 20 years as a platinum provider of Invisalign, DSD master, and operates a solo practice startup that is fully digital. She is an aligner faculty member and has been lecturing for over 3 years on social media on Invisalign and DSD. Allison Lacoursiere is a certified dental office manager, a high-performance coach, an Align faculty member, and the owner of Clear Coaching, an Invisalign practice management and marketing company. Combined, they were able to bring Dr. Bown's practice to the next level in high-performance team cohesiveness and Invisalign success and digital dentistry, which is why they started the Digital Dental Academy. The Academy is an accelerator for dentists to take their practice to the next level with digital technology and high performance. And as they are coming into their final months of the first launch, they are seeing the success this program has on doctors, clinics, teams, and mindsets. They are dedicated to helping more doctors find more success and joy in their lives and practice. Without further ado, now please help me welcome them to the interview on Dental Tech Chat. Introduce Dr. Peggy Bown and Allison Lacoursiere, and they're going to explain a little bit of how they got their start into the community of dentistry. So, Miss Peggy Bown, if you'll take the floor for us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Allie. I wanted to become a dentist since I was a little girl. I had always had a dental, I always had cavities as a child. And then my mom took me to a new dentist at around the age of 13 or 14. And he changed my world, not only made me, less fearful and more, interested in dentistry, but I actually became a dentist because of his impact. And the key thing that he did, and this is why what is the center point or my why, I guess, was to what I make sure I share with my patients as well. The key thing that he did was that he took the time to not just have me laying back in the chair and get to work. He sat me up and he looked me, straight in the eyes and explained things and took the time to share with me what he was going to do before he did it, made me, ask me questions, was very engaged. Again, I imagine I'm only like 13 or 14 years old. A lot of people especially don't take the time to do that for kids. Mm-hmm. And so he did that and it just opened my eyes. And I was like, wow. Dentistry is, first of all, very cool, I thought, because I loved biology and things like that. But it was like, I can make an impact too if I did this for someone. So my whole reason to become a dentist was so that I could educate people and reduce fear and help them, be inspired to take better care of their teeth. And, one of the reasons why I love the iTero so much is because I can use it again as that tool that can open one's eyes to, being more, to own their problem and also be engaged with their oral health. So, it's just, that's how I got into dental school. It turned out that he graduated with me. He was in Newfoundland, and it was in a rural area where I grew up in rural Newfoundland. He did not have to be licensed like in Canada the same way because he had been from South Africa. And when he wanted to graduate, when he wanted to go to a bigger center in Newfoundland, he had to go back to school. They forced him to go back to either write this exam or go back to school. So he actually graduated with me from dental school and crossed the stage with me at graduation. So I don't know how crazy that gets, but
that's incredible.
After practicing,
small world too, right? Wow.
Yeah, after practicing
just same stage.
Crazy. It was crazy.
You definitely achieved your goal. I'm assuming too, how you do help so many people, and you definitely give that confidence as a dentist and letting and explaining in your patient education. I mean, you're so kind-hearted, you're so sweet, and you're just one of those dentists that really do give, you care so much that you definitely, I feel like I know you do take that time to really hear their problem and let them know you're going to be taken care of.
Yeah, I want to hear the patient. I want to let them, and I want to be empathetic and sensitive to what their needs are first. And I think as dentists, if we did more of that, we would be more perceived better by the public. And so that is my other kind of mission, is to change public perceptions of dentistry.
Yeah. And I think you're definitely on a roll with that, because I think that's number one key thing is connecting with your patient and really having that strong relationship and hearing them out. So thank you for sharing your story with us. And Allison, I would love to hear your story and how you got started into the dental community.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was graduating from high school at 17, I really wanted to travel, but I wanted to have a career that I could travel with for the short term. So I made the decision to go into dental assisting because I was really impatient. I was like, it's only 10 months. Like I can get out and I can like have a career that I'm helping people and travel. And so when I graduated from dental assisting, I moved to Bermuda after getting my orthodontic certification in Alberta. I grew up in a really small town in southern Alberta. And I remember my parents giving me, my passport when it got renewed. And they were like, I'm scared to give this to you because I know you're going to be gone. So I, sure enough, got a job in Bermuda when I was 19, moved there.
Oh my goodness.
And really realized the power to change people's lives and be the best part of their day. Like, most of the time patients come in and they're like, I don't want to be here. I'm scared to be here. And it became my mission to be like, you're going to be excited to come here. And so I moved into being a treatment coordinator. And then when I was 24, I became an office manager and just fell in love with technology, systemization, team, helping then change my team's lives and help them grow in the practice. And then from there, I got my own dental coach, recognized the power of coaching, and became a coach, and now am coaching other practices to change their patients' lives, change their team's lives, and be the best part of somebody's day. So that was how I kind of grew up in the dental world.
So motivational. I love that, just like the chain reaction of just constantly, wanting to push yourself to be able to be the best version of yourself so you can give you the best to your patient and making people feel comfortable. And I think really that's what you guys, both of your mission is, letting patients walk that door and be excited about what they're about, who they're about to meet, the team they're going to have, and just really having like just a good overall experience. And I think you guys are doing such a great job, both in connecting as a team. I mean, it's just so exciting to see things you guys are accomplishing together, and just so glad to have you both and hear your stories today. This interview with both of you ladies. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on Dental Tech Chat with me today. How have you guys been doing?
Really good. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. Thank you so much, Allie.
You're so welcome. You guys are so inspirational, so motivational every day. I really appreciate the very cheer, and you guys give such good, very good. Sorry, I'm going to cut this. Such inspiration to the dental community, and you guys are such powerhouses. And I love that you guys bring such inspiration to the dental field and teaching us and learn and grow in digital dentistry. So I couldn't help but ask for you guys to be on Dental Tech Chat because you guys do handle so much with dental technology.
Yes, we love it. Like, we love dental technology. So this feels right.
Yeah, and the past year has made us so much stronger. So we feel that we have a lot to share, and we just love sharing it. So
yeah, you guys do a lot for the community and bringing us together. I really love your guys' podcast. If you guys have both been launching in your Allison's live videos, you'll learn so much from them if you check them out, because I love and enjoy podcasting and bringing the community together to learn and grow and network. So I'm so glad to have your guys' nuggets and pearls on what you guys have been using in your practices and how you guys teach dentists about digital technology workflow. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into the Dental Tech Chat and kind of let you guys both take the stage on how you guys help teach dentists digital technology and what you guys like to use. So I'll open the floor for probably Dr. Peggy Bown first. I would like to ask you our first question, which is going to be our diamond in the rough. This is going to be a piece of dental technology that you use in your practice that not maybe every dentist knows about, but that's been a huge advantage in your practice.
Wow, that is it's hard to choose, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm very well known for being a great an advocate for having digital in the practice, period. But the digital technology that if you told me tomorrow was not going to be in my clinic, you just took it away, I would close my clinic and ask you when you were going to bring it back. And then I would, come back to work. But I really cannot practice without the iTero element and all the tools in it. And what I really realize is many doctors who even have this technology, they don't use it in an optimal way, and they don't understand the capabilities of it from both empowering the team to wowing the patient to educating the patient, all the way to getting much greater case acceptance. And so it's just not what it originally was built for. I think was for restorative, and of course, Align purchased it. It became, iTero through that, and all the different versions of it, every version possible. And every time I purchase a new scanner or I implement another scanner into my clinic, my production, my team, everything improves. And so just it's the way now that I really communicate with patients, and our documentation, everything is done through this digital creation of like the mouse. It copies everything that we need to know and then tracks it over time. So a lot of the tools and things that are available with this technology really aren't being used regularly by a lot of dentists. So they get the scanner, they think, okay, I'm just going to do Invisalign with it, or restorative, or both, but they still don't realize all the things. So it's very passionate for me. I'm very passionate about talking about how to make that basically the heart of the digital technology in the practice. But there is so many other things. So, it's hard to choose, but I really feel that if I had to pick that one piece, it would be that, and just making people realize that there's so much more than they probably even are doing with it.
Wow. I mean, jam-packed of knowledge there, and the iTero has been taking off. And I know your practice is definitely known for its Invisalign cases. Like, congratulations to you and your practice for that, and using it for its like high quality and efficiency. Like, I know you're definitely, like you said, making it the heart has got to be a priority, because you don't want to get this technology and have it sitting around and it's not benefiting the practice. It's going to benefit the patient. And I've heard plenty of times you're saying that wow factor. It is just so nice to get rid of the goopy impressions. We're all explaining that nowadays. And it's just so incredible, like how quickly, if we start using that tool and implementing it right away, it's going to see ROI instantly, and your patients are just blown away that they can instantly see that 3D image of their mouth. And I just know it's such a great tool that I think so many dentists, I wish, like you were saying, like actually really start getting your cases and understanding how to use that. Yeah. So when you implemented this, was there like a bigger learning curve with the like to teach the team, or like were there like certain steps you would say, like when you implement it, like did you like set a strategy for it?
Well, it's interesting because I've had the very first Cadence scanner, always had it part of it. Dental assistants always had it. And then as I brought on new team members, there's always that integration of that team member having to take the time to train. And I think a lot of dentists, they're afraid to stop and take the time to train, and there is that investment, but it's not long. I mean, it's very easy. They've made it very user friendly. It certainly doesn't take a long time, but it's the messaging that we are a digital clinic, or we are a clinic that cares about total health. And it's the only way really to educate very quickly and easily total health is to show them the scan. And so when you have the mindset of the team on board, it's really then becomes like the technical skills of how to scan and just show patients it isn't that hard, but it's that getting the team and just making sure that you, the leader, the dentist, has that mindset, and then kind of, keeps talking about it in a way like this is where dentistry is going, this is where I want to go, and this is what our patients really deserve and need. Then it's not that much, it's not hard to overcome, like actually adopting, the skill set to do it. It's the mindset maybe in some ways. When you say Allison has helped a lot.
Yeah, I would say like one of the hardest parts is like getting buy-in, especially for the hygiene team, because they're like, we're so busy already. Like, why are we adding another thing to our practice? But it's about making it exciting. It's about getting the buy-in. It's about getting them to realize like they're going to be super scanners in no time at all, like because the technology does so much for their workflow. I would say that's like one of the biggest hurdles to overcome. But when you can, it's like you don't need to speak anymore. You just show them the scan and then zip your lips, and the rest is like history. So yeah, I would say implementation is key when it comes to your hygiene team.
Yeah, and they really get excited because it makes their job easier, and the patients appreciate, like, we'll scan as a hygienist, like they'll scan even before they remove the tartar, and then they can scan after, or they can scan next time and show them like, look, this is how much buildup you had last time. And there's a whole, again, that's another one of the tools is time lapse, but for so many ways that the hygienists, once they buy in, again, you have to show leadership, you have to take the time to like encourage them and support them. And I've never met a hygienist who didn't, love it within a very short period, but with the right attitude coming from the top,
Yeah, definitely. Like, again, like you're saying, that key piece of like leadership, empowering them and understanding like there can be a lot of more benefits of just like, getting into it and just like really kind of holding their hand and saying, it's, we implement this, it's going to definitely for the long term be more beneficial.
Yeah.
So like, I think like empowering them and being like you said, like showing them the way, you know, lead by example.
Yes.
Implement and use, and then train it and do it. So, you know, that's the best way to definitely get things implemented and started, is definitely not to have that fear or shy away from it, but more, you know, be empowering and show them that there's going to be so much more benefit to it.
Yeah.
So I know Allison deals with a lot with that, like you said, kind of educating and having them feel, you know, confident when they're using a tool. So this kind of is going to kind of like, let me just kind of elaborate more on just kind of when you met with probably Dr. Peggy Bown and implementing the iTero. I'm sure you guys kind of went with like hand in hand on like, how would you want to educate the patient when using this tool? So like, would there be like anything when you go into like, you know, into like new practices? Cause you know, Peggy probably already had an idea. So she probably wanted to build on that leadership. But when you go to like a brand new office and they probably just start with an iTero, like what's kind of maybe like that first stage, would you say, to get started for like training?
Absolutely. And I think like what we know to be true about people is they believe things more when it's their idea. And so when you're teaching your team, like, first of all, it's getting your team bought in, but then like when it comes to the patient experience, when you can get the patient to be asking the questions like, what's that? Or, you know, what do we do about this? Or tell me more about, you know, what you're seeing in my mouth. Like, that's when you know you have the buy-in from the patient. And so like implementing the iTero in the practices is one, like showing them what's possible, allowing them to know that they have the support, the being able to have the questions answered along the way. And then I would say helping the team feel confident in answering the questions that the patient might have, because no team member wants to look silly in front of their patient. They don't want to bring in this new technology and they're fumbling around with it. Like, that is the thing that they're the most afraid of when they get started, is like looking silly in front of their patient. So setting aside the time to make sure that they're confident, that they're trained, that they understand what this technology can do, and then be able to help them show it and present it to the patient in a way that the patient actually is asking them questions and has buy-in towards what is happening in their mouth. And when we can create that ownership piece with this like beautiful visual tool, like magic just happens in practices.
Yes, I thank you so much for sharing that, because I think you're completely right when you're saying you want them to ask the questions. And, you know, to set aside the training is crucial, because I feel like that's what it is too. It's, you know, you don't want to have that lost time, but if, again, you put that time aside, you're only going to see the benefit of, hey, we all feel confident in using this tool. And then they're going to also feel confident in talking about wanting to get those types of cases and doing more of those cases. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think training becomes a huge thing, where I know having yourself, or also just setting aside the time and really getting in there and asking the hard questions, is going to make a lot more sense and getting more accuracy using this tool. So thank you for explaining that training has got to be number one when you're implementing a technology tool into any practice, because it's going to change your workflow a bit, and you want your team to be confident in the tool they're using, so the patient feels also confident and trusts you with that relationship. So I'm really glad you guys touched on a key aspect of training, because I think that's really big in more dentists. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. And I would say like, one of the things that doctors are afraid of is like slowing down the flow of the practice, like losing production time. And, you know, just thinking from that perspective, it can be a bit short-sighted, where like, if you slow down, then you can speed up, you can actually multiply your production. If you like take some time away from it, get your team on board, you can multiply your production and time in the future.
That's really like key point right there. You got to have the training to have more production. Goes hand in hand. You got to have that balance. And when you guys like would start training, because I know, Allison, you do trainings of these with like Dr. Peggy Bown and things, like, do you guys usually do these in morning trainings, or do they sometimes become night trainings, or does it really just fit whatever the dentist would fits best for their schedule?
I mean, when I go into practices, like, I let the team decide. And every team is different. I'm like, guys, what is going to be the best fit for you? Like, let's have a vote. Are morning meetings going to be better, or do you guys want to stay after work? Like, what's going to work? And some of my practices are like breakfast meetings. I want to get out of here on time. And others are like, I am not awake in the morning, so let's do this after work and have a couple of drinks afterwards. And so I would say let your team decide and have a vote, because then they'll be even more bought into that training, because they're not feeling it's being done to them, it's being done for them.
Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate those little pearls on how to kind of get you started with your iTero. And thanks for explaining the different features a little bit to us, Dr. Peggy Bown. So this is going to bring me to my second question about technology, which is kind of like a no risk, no reward option, which is something you put a big investment of time and money into technology that paid off.
That paid off? Does it have to be the technology? I would say one thing is the digital printer.
Yeah.
And again, just integrating all the workflows. So we do Invisalign, we have a printer, we do diagnostics, we print everything, but then that all comes back to, you need an iTero for that.
Yes.
So I can't say enough. Again, that's been something that has paid off. And like I say, I notice each time I bring something in, I really have an increase in production, but there is that little bit of a bump at first, because we have to realize that not everybody learns at the same speed, and we need to take the time to do the training. So again, Allison's, been great, because she's really made us awesome. We've done training before, but we really now like 3 or 4 times a year, like block off, 2 hours before the day starts to really do something specific with training. So it could be like the new digital technology from the front end all the way back to, how we're talking to patients in a new patient experience, or role playing and things like that. It's more about the people and how they are learning to adapt to the technology than it is the actual technology itself. Sometimes
Right.
I think anything can really work if you have the right reasons for wanting to implement it, and having, like Allison said, that buy-in from the team. But just as an example, though, the digital printer, we did purchase one back right before we became a DSD clinic. Back, it'll be 2 years this September. And I was on the fence about it for a long time. And now I would buy another one like tomorrow. It is going, like, it's printing models, and I grade great, nice, clean models. I can make things with the models. My assistant is really creative. She does all kinds of great things. I never hear the model trimmer. There's never any mess. We're not pouring alginates. We're doing all kinds of things. So it's also impressive. So we've left it out so that the patients can see things printing, and they are like, oh, you have a 3D printer. Wow. Like that's still early enough technology that's just, again, a really cool thing. And just talking to your patients about the fact you have certain cool technologies, and just bring it up in conversation, it helps the patients realize how special a place they are, and how fortunate they are to be a part of a clinic, or a patient in a clinic that does invest in this kind of thing. So just, making sure that the conversations are about, the time, the investment that we make, so that they appreciate, and they're less likely to complain, or they feel like they get more value. So they're less likely to complain about the cost of dentistry if they know about the value. So it's all about, talking about things like the printer, like the iTero, anything like that the patients become more appreciative and not just wowed by it.
Yes. And Allison, I was going to say to you, if you wanted to add a point in here also about that, a little bit about how her no risk, no reward, that reward is that patient education and that patient feeling valued. Like you said, they're not really going to question when they really know that they're getting the best treatment and diagnosis from their dentist. And also just knowing that their dentist is using, the best cutting edge and leading the path of really understanding to give you guys that same day, let that be like for the milling, right? Like restoration, crown.
It could be anything.
Anything. Yep. It's incredible. Like that same day is like, it really helps with efficiency and workflow of just getting them in and out, and they don't have to be waiting to come back in to see you. That's just got to be such a nice procedure to be able to offer. And that, you guys have these technologies that are leading the way of where digital technology is going, and really making everything so more efficient.
Yeah. And then patients need to realize, like, not everybody does this,
They don't.
Making sure that they realize that you're creating more value for them, that you are different, that creates storylines that they then talk about. So it builds the practice, like the patients become, I don't want to say cliche, like a brand ambassador for you, but like they start talking about you in a way that is different, and people will want to come to your clinic because of the digital technology that you have.
And just your expertise with the digital technology. I mean, you're putting the time in with you and your staff to give that value, and the expertise too, where you can get a graph, but you really need to have the dentist and the team member who really knows how to pick that apart and really give the proper diagnoses and makes it clear to the patient, so they understand also what's going on. Because even though you can look at it and know instantly, you really got to use that as a key educational piece too, to where how you can fix their smile.
Yeah, there's so many things I do with it and the multiple technologies that we have. But each day I'm excited, because it's almost like probably weekly I find a new way to use it to explain things. So it never is dull, never a dull moment.
That's how it is with technology, right? There's always more to be learning. It's always, moving. It's always moving forward. It's always upgrading. It's got more advancements. So it's just so awesome to see the different additionalities and ways it can be developing constantly and how it can better help the workflow.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say like from kind of like a management perspective, like when it comes to the type of technology that has really like changed a practice or changed practices that I've worked in would be like the automation of like confirming appointments, messaging, being able to have digital forms, like things like that, that allow your patients to have like convenience and connection with automation. Because it's like creating that like touch point without more lift from your team. In fact, like most of the time it's less lift, but it's still like bringing connection to patients. Because right now, like, we live in a technology driven world and like all three of us love technology so much. And what do we want the most? We want to feel taken care of with the most up-to-date modern technology, like Peggy was mentioning. And then we want to feel a connection to the practice. And we also want it to be convenient. So the softwares that we can implement in the practice that allow for digital payments, automatic confirmations, changing appointments online, booking through Instagram, seeing these things through Instagram, these things are going to be the future of dentistry. But right now they're kind of like, oh, this is amazing. But pretty soon it's going to be expected for every practice. And the more you can adopt these things and learn and train your team and have your team on board, the better your practice is going to be overall.
You couldn't have said it better. Connection. I mean, that's the number one thing. And you've got to get on the wave now. If you wait because of fear, you're going to be behind. So you got to jump on. I know it's going to be a little shaky ride, but it's worth it. I think, obviously, Allison, what you are doing is so amazing. Again, that's just connection in the community of understanding how to use your Instagram and what softwares to use. So when you are going to practices, if you don't mind, I just kind of wanted to ask, is there certain software for communication that you talk to your dentist about when you're going to their offices? Like, is there a connection tool for like being, paperless, like that you'd like to maybe like tell some dentists about on the podcast today?
Yeah, I would say like my favorite paperless software has been Opera DDS.
Yes,
Brian
heard amazing
Laskin,
things.
he's such an innovator. One of my favorite people in dentistry, honestly. Their whole team is incredible. And I first met him at ADOM and I was like, we need this in our practice. We implemented paperless forms, and like my front desk team, my administrators were just like jumping for joy. So I would say like using paperless as soon as you possibly can is something that I like whenever I'm in a practice and I see one, charts, like what is happening right now, and then two, like digital or like paper new patient forms. I'm like, guys, like come on, like we have to make this easier for our patients to come in to see us. So I love their technology.
I think that is definitely a great little nugget. So right there, Opera DDS, you guys, I've heard amazing things too with the messaging and the different ways you guys can send papers to your patient, easy and convenient, and logs it completely into the software and saves everything for you for patient files, for insurance papers. It's amazing. So definitely check it out. I think next, which is a really interesting question, but it can be anything from digital to just something you implemented in the practice. We call this the flop. I just kind of like to hear from dentists, like things, when you're starting to practice, you're going digital or just getting even things for the office. And you're like, oh, I thought I was really going to use this item, but you ended up not using it. It was kind of like a waste of money. So again, if I would start with Dr. Peggy and then Allison, if you're also going to practices, I'd love to hear, like, if you see something that it was just something small, like from all the way from a towel warmer to, oh, I thought I was gonna use a messaging app and it doesn't work that like I thought it would. Just helpful to kind of hear, like, maybe it's just something you can kind of bypass and not maybe need.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yes.
You mentioned towel warmers, but we had like steamed facial towels that we would have prior to COVID, and we stopped that, but it was working really well. So I'm not sure it's a COVID. We don't do it now, but it was really, patients did love it. Like when they got out of their appointment, they had a nice steamed. I mean, you know what it's like if you're someone ever hands you a nice towel, but there's certain things too, like because of COVID now we can't do. So that would be one of them, I think. But as far as a flop, oh my goodness, I have to think. I did think, so it's not a flop, but I think I got distracted and I started using the occlusogram so much, like with the iTero, but I did have, and it's not that I don't love it. I think if you're really fine tuning, like full mouth reconstruction, you would use it, but I thought I would use it more. And it was the tech scan or T-scan, which is, check the bite. It's a digital way to record occlusion, but not
Okay.
just occlusal contacts. It's the timing of the contacts.
Mhm.
So I'm occlusion trained. I'm very big on that, and it did help me with a number of cases. But once we kind of just got away from using it because it was a little bit cumbersome. Like the technology, you don't have to bring out the computer for it. It wasn't as easy to just bring into the room, and it certainly helped a lot, but I wanted to say what good about it was that it allows you to show you the timing of the contents. So regular occlusion paper and the occlusogram does not do that. It just gives you where the bite is high. But sometimes there's a premature contact or like an interference that if you could only find that, so I don't want to say it's not a great technology. I think it's a great technology.
Mhm.
I think it's just, for me, it's a little bit more cumbersome because how easy it is, like just to have my iTero right there next to the chair all the time. And this is something that, I was having to bring in, and it wasn't the complete package. So it may be different now, but this was a few years ago. And I kind of kicked myself. I'm like, oh, did I need that? But it made me appreciate that, though, occlusion even more. So I think it has a lot of merit, but I think technology, anything that we implement could become a flop if it's not convenient. And I think that's the point here, is that
Yes.
as long as the team feels that it's convenient and it's not something like, for example, if you only have one iTero and you have 6 to 10 operatories, well, the hygienists are not going to just go and grab, like, they're not going to go back and forth. You need more.
Exactly.
So if you have that, if something's set up in the room all the time, then what I guess we could learn from this is that if it's there, they will use it. If they've got to go to another room or they've got to turn on a computer and it's slow to start, they're not going to use it. So for that, that's the key thing with any technology. Be sure that you can afford, or you want to invest in enough of them. And another example is an intro camera. Years ago,
Yes.
I bought only 1 or 2 and realized, you know what, we could just switch them. Okay, if you need the intro camera, come get it, and we'll connect it. And the one we use is Digital Dock, and it's amazing. Greatest camera I've ever seen. However, if you don't have one in every room, they're likely not going to go and get it. So it's all about convenience with technology and whether or not probably it's going to be a flop.
Yes. I'm really glad you touched on that convenience piece, because I think that is so true, that it's like, if it's not there, it's not accessible reach, they're not really making that a priority. So definitely a great little nugget there. And I was just going to let Allison, I think you had something to add here. So I definitely would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, like as you asked that question, I was like thinking back to all the technology I've implemented in practices or seen implemented in practices. And I would say too much technology too fast without an implementation plan. Like any technology, I think, like, I don't think there are technology today in dentistry that are terrible. There might be better or worse or more efficient or not, but I don't think anything that's actually survived in the marketplace is a terrible technology. And I think the way or the reason why it might fail, I would say 99% of the time, would be lack of implementation, lack of accountability, lack of follow-up, lack of team buy-in. And I've seen that with literally everything, like from a software that tracks metrics, from a patient communication software, from a like iTero not being utilized. And I think that it really comes down to not doing too much technology too fast and really having realistic goals for your team that allows them to understand the technology and know how to use it when and why.
Yes, I think that right there, you're like you said, the strategy and implementation process. It has to be definitely mapped out, because too much too fast of anything does not usually go well. So definitely have a, one step at a time, understand how to use it, implement it correctly, and then it's going to be more successful than rushing around. And really, then it just kind of gets set off to the side because you didn't even really put the time and effort to understand what you're about to implement and change the workflow. Because with every technology, it's got a little bit of a learning curve. So like you said, slow and steady is going to win the race with the technology game. But once you get it down, it's going to make it more and more effective, which is such a great piece, like you said, implementation. So I'm really glad you guys explained that little key nugget there too. So I hope people have their notepads out, because I know you, like you said, we're going to have really great notes, and you guys have already given some great knowledge on some of these technologies. You guys are really working hand in hand together. And I'm so glad to have you guys here. So this is going to bring me to you guys expand on what dental alchemy is and how you guys are offering this to dentists in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dental Alchemy really came together when Dr. Peggy and I started working together in the middle of the pandemic in 2020 last year, and we were able to accomplish some massive goals together. We both love technology. We love people. We love innovation. We are like hardwired high performers, and we just came together and we were like, we want to do something to help people in dentistry take themselves to the next level through high performance, through implementation of technology, and really through confidence in the workflows of this newer technology like DSD, Invisalign, marketing strategies like Instagram, high performance coaching. And, as we started talking about this and we realized we had this very common goal to help more dentists just do better and be happier, we were like, let's build a program. So Peggy, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah. It was exciting because when Allison started coaching me last year she was asking me, what do you want to do, as a longer term vision? And I was like, well, I really love to coach other dentists. I see myself doing some sort of coaching. And of course, Allison was already doing that herself. And then we thought, well, geez, like between the two of us, we kind of cover a lot of the basis of between dentists, dental team, office management, digital workflows, just social media. We covered everything. We're like, why don't we put together like an academy or sort of a coaching program that will cover all these bases and basically accelerate a dentist being able to sort of just jump into this arena of being more digital, getting more effective with their social media marketing, getting themselves for lack of a better term, like getting themselves set up properly, both mentally, physically, and just with their team to be prepared to do this. So that we knew there was like at least 3 or 4, probably there's more, right, Allison? We kind of broke it down into 3 main categories. And that then would allow for each module that we would go into, we would cover something essential, but it would give the attendees like an opportunity to start to implement that. Because like you say, if we don't give time for implementation, then it's just not going to work. So it's got to accelerate them, but we need also time to help them implement. So each week now we support by doing like a live coaching call together to actually back up and support what's in the training module. So everything's sort of on demand. We created this program. Right now it's a 3-month intensive. It could have been longer, honestly, right, Allison?
Oh my goodness.
So much content, like it's jam-packed. We didn't realize how much would be in there. So we're going to be relaunching it. We're really excited. We're relaunching it in September of next year, but we're already we're already working on the next round. But we've got students right now who we're just like pouring the love on them, right, Allison?
So much.
They are getting so
it's exciting.
much. Yeah. So they get us one-on-one or, in a group and weekly, just on top of all the other things that we give them. But it's like, I think Alice and I were just so aligned in like what our purpose is and what we love to talk about and our experience. So Allison having, 10 years experience in doing all of this, and me having 20 years experience as a dentist. And just the culmination of our experience, but also our passion and drive to help other dentists, knowing and learning, like from what we learned in the past year, even we realized that things can be even better post-pandemic or in this world. So it's so exciting. And of course I love working with Allison, but go ahead, Allison, tell them more.
Yeah. We have so much fun together. Like literally every time we get off our coaching calls, we're like, yes, we did it. Like we helped people. And we created the 3 modules. The first module is high performance you and team. And so it talks about like, as you see on our Instagrams, we're very much into like high performance habits, like taking really good care of ourselves, because that is the key and the foundation of taking great care of our team and patients. And so we went into high performance coaching for yourself, for your team, setting up your schedules for success so that you could be happier and more productive in your clinic. And then in the second module, we did like digital workflow, iTero, Invisalign, and Peggy and I are both laughing because like there's so much information in there. It's like a year's worth of training. And we developed it with so much love to help these doctors implement, bonding attachments better, going from Invisalign to DSD, to case presentation, to printing models, printing everything. Like Peggy just gave so much information in that second module. And then now we are just launching our third module, which is marketing. We're doing Instagram, Facebook, email, physical marketing, branding. Like it's such a meaty module as well. And our students are loving it. They are having such a good time. And we've really, I would say the biggest success that we've seen so far is creating a community of trust, of connection, building confidence with these dentists, being able to implement these things. And it really has impacted, it's one of my favorite things to do each week. So we're so excited to help more doctors in our second round, launching in September 2021. So really exciting.
This is so exceptional, ladies. I mean, you guys are really paving the way to like show everybody how to get into their digital workflow and really understanding, like you said, marketing and the strategy of implementation of this technology. And that's just really great to hear. And I'm just like so proud of you guys, and what also has me following you along, because you guys have so much to give. And I'm so thankful to also be on the train to watch how you guys are going to grow this community. I'm so glad to be a part of it as well. So thank you so much for sharing that with us and how they can get started. So I'll be sure to get that information from you guys to plug it in our link in our bio below so they can follow along. And I myself, I'm going to be able to learn from you powerhouse women and empowering us here in the dental community. And I'm really happy because you guys are going beyond the expectation and really showing dentists how this is done, and also just like dental teams and working together, leadership, and, showing the way and having a good mindset and a positive mindset and how to implement these technologies, and also just great communication. That's going to be the tool of what takes the success, and really having that awareness and showing, who your brand is and having a strategy for all of that. So really exciting news. And I'm so happy for you guys, and congrats on relaunching a second thing of this, because I'm sure it was so popular. Like you said, there's so much to learn and know. It's incredible. Like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I'm sure so many teams are already benefiting and getting so much success working with you both. And I also want to be able to jump in there and also maybe learn a thing or two, because it does not hurt. Everyone can be learning. You're never a pro. You're always learning every day. It's always changing.
That's a great attitude, Allie.
Yes, thank you. I mean, hey, I'm like you guys say, I mean, the best quality, be optimistic and don't give up. Keep trying to find your goals, implement those, and have a strategy to actually achieve the goals. Because if it's not scheduled, it usually won't get done. So I'm all about scheduling. Just like I think Allison preaches a lot on her Instagram. So I know I'm all about that as well. So I kind of wanted to ask you, what your guys' goal is for the next year going forward, now that, we're kind of getting to this post-COVID, and how's everything been going for you guys? Where do you kind of see this going in the next year?
Big places.
Big places. I'm excited.
One of the key things that the more we got developing the modules, we realized there's no one out there doing the whole package. There's lots of residencies, mini residencies. There's a lot of different things online, and that's so awesome, because we don't all have to fly everywhere anymore for this. So on-demand learning is, I think, the future for sure. Yes, and it's allowing me, for example, to spend more time with my family, because I was traveling, lecturing, and I was away from my kids a lot, and it was hard to say no. So I've learned to say no a little bit more, but I'm able to say yes more than I could have, because I don't have to travel. So I think a lot of dentists are oh, great, I can just take that course, on my own time. So there's that aspect, but being able to be to get, I think that that personal coaching, but also the on-demand coaching, that combination of coaching and learning with the entire, like I say, the whole package. So we might be expanding on these topics that Allison, these modules went on, but just those three areas alone can really catapult and accelerate anyone's practice. And I'm sharing everything, of course, that I'm doing in my clinic. And it is, people just want to know, how are you doing it? How are you doing it all? Or how are you making this work? And just by having that platform where I can share what I'm doing in my clinic to help other dentists, but they're going to get to do it so much faster than I got to learn it. I've had this clinic trying on this track of, digital workflows and more intense digital workflows for 6 years. It's actually, today is our 6-year anniversary.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations.
I didn't realize today,
oh my gosh,
anniversary of our first patient in this new digital clinic. And, you know, it's just really special to share that with other dentists. I love to inspire other people in general, let alone dentists. I can talk about dentistry all day, but I like to inspire people in general. So I think I think the sky's the limit. And Allison and I are like, this is so good. We say that so much because we can't believe what we're giving. Like, we're giving this. And if we could have been given that, imagine a few years ago where I would be, right? So to help dentists accelerate their implementation of digital and just their whole clinic, from both their mindset all the way out to their marketing, mindset to marketing. That's a good one.
Yes. That is perfect.
So, yeah, I'm always doing stuff like that. But the point there is that I don't think there's anything, what we're offering is very unique. And I'm really proud of it. And I'm really excited to be a part of it with Allison.
I'm proud of you guys. I mean, you guys are really laying the track down for like the future for dentists. Like you said, if you would have had this, like what you said 2 years ago, like where you'd be, but like, awesome. You guys are literally laying the tracks, showing them, okay, here's like the hurdles. This is how you jump.
Yeah. Like they get like a step-by-step how.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's very like holistic as well. Like, you know, I'm a high performance coach, and Peggy and I, like, a lot of times when I'm coaching Peggy, like, we're talking about like, you know, what's going to make you happy? Like, what is success look like for you? Like, what is going to matter at the end of all of this? And I think like adding that high performance element to this, like, it's not just about profitability. It's not just about increasing revenue. It's not just about the success of like being a great profitable clinic. It's about the success of the dentist as a holistic person. Like, how do we make them healthier? How do we help them have more time with their family? How do we make them feel like all of this work is worth it at the end of the day? And I think that's what really has created the community, is opening up people to ask these questions, these hard questions, determine like their 5-year vision, their 10-year vision, their life vision for their practice, and really get like clear on that and have a support system around it. And so Peggy and I are both visionaries. And so we're like, okay, we're going to have our own conference. We're going to have them come to Bermuda and like, you know, be with us together, have t-shirts. Like, we are such visionaries that I think, you know, this is just the beginning of Digital Dental Academy and Dental Alchemy, but we want to help change the dental industry and really create a group of supportive, you know, non-judgmental connections that allow dentists to grow in the best way possible and help them just be happier and more fulfilled overall. So that's where I think we're going in the next year, is just our relaunch, see how many more dentists we can help. And then, you know, the sky's the limit for us, honestly, because we just don't stop. We're like, what else could we do?
That is the way to have the mindset. Way to go for you, powerful women. I'm so happy for you guys opening this door for the community and really just taking these steps to like build upon this. That's already like pre-launched, and now like it's been so successful. You guys can, like you said, the sky is going to be the limit. I hope you guys can do the Bermuda. I want to see the t-shirts. I would love to even be there in the t-shirt. And you guys are just so welcoming and helping all aspects of the community when it comes to even people who are doing just dental technology to the very aspect of front office, the person who's booking and just on the phone. I think it's just so inclusive and how much you can learn from what you guys are offering in your guys' dental alchemy. And I'm so excited for you guys to be doing this and teaching everybody all these different skills and how to be successful and having a better positive mindset from, like you said, from your mind all the way to the implementation of getting the technology. That's where it's got to all start, is your mindset and being a good leader. And I think what you guys are offering is amazing. So that's going to bring me to like my final question for you both. And I wanted to ask you, you guys are both such inspirational leaders in this community and having all these great qualities. So like when you start your day every day, there's usually a routine when it comes to leadership. So like, what's something you guys do when you wake up in the morning that you kind of get your day started to kind of have a successful day, to kind of lay out the map for every single day when you start? So if you'd like, Allison, take the floor, tell us a little bit of your leadership routine.
Oh man, this is tough because I do so much in the morning. Like, mornings are like, for me, my magic hour, and it very much sets up my day. So like, I'll wake up, make my coffee, I'll read. I'm always reading something new, journal my affirmations, my vision. I would say vision is a huge thing. It's like really imagining the future that's meant for you. Like, where are you stepping into? Imagining yourself like succeeding in the life that you want. I meditate, and then I exercise, and then I have a cold shower. So that is my like kind of powerful
Look at that. I love that.
Say, like, if I couldn't live without one of those things, it would probably be exercise, because like the endorphins, the energy, the mindset, like it really is so powerful. Even like 7 minutes of exercise can shape your day. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I would say if I couldn't live without exercise, but all of those other things really set me up.
Thank you so much for sharing. So glad to hear about your power hour, your magic hour. And Miss Peggy Bown, how do you start your morning as your leadership routine in the morning for yourself?
It's very similar. I'm not going to lie.
There you go. See?
I've always been very disciplined my whole life, actually. And I love mornings. So I've never minded getting up early. I make a point to get up around 5. And the first thing is to drink lots of water and get ready. All my clothes, everything's laid out. So the night, it starts the night before with everything prepared. So including my cold water, everything's ready to go. And then of course I go get my dog and I will journal. And then he's looking at me like, okay, it's my turn. So I walk my dog. You mentioned at the beginning,
Yep.
Post. So I put mostly dentistry in my Instagram, but one thing I do very routinely is I share with people my morning, and just one beautiful part of it. So I'll find a piece of nature or something about it, and I will post that. And that just honestly, I know I'm supposed to sort of probably not be on, and I'm not on social media, like I'm not surfing, but I will do one post because I want to inspire people to also get out and enjoy nature. So I will do that. And then, I get back and I may do a little bit of work, but I have a routine of, again, things that I eat and drink are very regimented in the morning, and I do pretty much the same thing all week long. And I'll sleep in a little bit on a Saturday, I'm not gonna lie, but generally the weekdays I have a very strict routine of that, making sure I get out and exercise. I also exercise at night, but in the morning it's a run with my dog.
You guys have such great similar routines. I think that's wonderful. I think that's what a lot of sometimes successful people sometimes have similarities in there, but everyone can readjust and has their own, label of success. Some people love to work out at night and that's like their thing. That's their jam. Sometimes that's for me because sometimes in the morning I'm trying to see my doggos, and then I'm trying to also surf a little, only because I do so much social media. So I kind of like to spend a little bit of my morning engaging. But I really do love to journal and also do affirmations. I think it is so key to have a set goal for yourself and to have a little checklist mentally to know what's my priorities, and then get that all settled away. So I think it's so awesome that you guys have these routines. I hope our listeners can learn a little bit from this and maybe also start implementing a little of these things into their routines if they're not, or share with us their routines in the comments. I am so glad to have you guys both here. This is such an amazing time. I learned so much from you both on how you guys have been implementing iTarot, how you educate on iTarot, and how you guys also just empower the community and have these different ways to have outlets of different funnels and how they can learn how to implement digital technology into the workflow of their practices. So without further ado, I'd like for you guys, before you guys go off, if you guys could just tell us how our listeners can connect with you on the internet if they have any questions.
Okay. I guess I'll start. You can find me on pretty much any social media platform, but the main platforms, of course, is at Dr. Peggy Bown is my Instagram. Allison and I have a shared Instagram at Dental Alchemy. And you can reach me at peggy@smilesbybound.com as an email, but I'm very receptive. This is a hint. This is a tip. Very receptive to DMs on Instagram.
Hey.
I almost don't let them go. So
Yes.
it's very strange for me not to answer one of those. And also LinkedIn, I have a professional page and a business page there, as well as on Facebook.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. And Miss Allison?
You can find me on Instagram at Your Clear Aligner Coach. And then my website is yourclearalignercoach.com. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Allison Lacoursiere and Clear Coaching. And then, yes, come and find our page, Dental Alchemy. We're kind of sprucing it up, making it exciting. You'll see a lot of us on there. So excited to connect with you guys.
And
this was such a great time.
I did want to add, I forgot, I have a weekly podcast as well, The Truth About Dentistry.
Oh, yes. I also have the Clear Perspective, which is a weekly Facebook Live with somebody in the industry that I want to hear their perspective on. So, yes.
Both very great channels. You'll learn so much from both of them. They have such great special guests as well. As just as I am so fortunate and so honored to have both of you on my podcast today and learned so much. And I hope our audience got some really great different dental pearls out of this talk today and learning from you empowering ladies in the dental community. So thank you so much for being on the Dental Tech Chat. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.